Yield looks to be pretty much what it's expected to be, so not too worried about that right now. We did notice, I think it was field 5 we cut at the end of summer, the yield was suddenly a fair bit lower than it had been, and finally figured out that the nitrogen levels in that field were below what clover needs, and clover does not need a lot of nitrogen. So I completely over nitrogenated all of the clover fields when I first planted them, and we've had 3 cuts a year for about 2 years before I managed to reduce that over nitrogenated level back to ideal. So for right now we are we're close to ideal, but we're going to need to be spraying these fields every time we cut them from now onwards. So, wow, it's not even 10 o'clock yet. It feels like I'm making far more progress this week than normal. But then last week was foraging with a forage harvester, and quite a bit of a struggle there. Now, as I was explaining, I'm not sure if it's part of the Maize Plus or something else, but these forage headers can now forage almost everything, and I always thought that these style only did corn. So I don't know what the deal with that is, and as I said, it could be part of the Maize Plus forage extension. In Farm Sim 22, those headers do work on all crop types, and the sort of the cutter heads now work on corn. Now the cutter heads here do not work on corn, which is why I think it may be part of the Maize Plus mod. But it does mean if you're foraging corn with the corn header or the maize header, if you get too close to the edge of the field, you will pick up grass, and because grass is an allowed crop type for that header, it's very difficult to shave the final row of corn without hitting the grass and just disrupting the whole cut process. And you'll see that in some cases here doing a clover cut, where I'm hitting the grass at the edge of the field, I'm actually picking up a grass windrow and not a clover windrow. Not that balers are too upset by that. You can put any grass type product in a baler, and for 19 the bale does not change, so the first thing you put in it is the type of bale you get. So unfortunately, if you accidentally hit a small plot of grass, right as it's completing a bale, the next bale will be grass and not clover. Now, as far as I'm concerned here, this is just going to get baled and wrapped, so I don't care if it's clover grass. Because it all comes out the same, it all ends up in the same place, and it all makes silage that will be sold at the BGA. So I might make maybe a little bit less from the grass bales, or the grass silage, than I would from the clover silage, but it's not an important thing to me. They're just going to the same place. The problem when I'm doing hay is clover hay can be left outside and not rot, whereas hay bales will rot because I'm playing seasons. And because of that, if I put hay bales out in the field, I'm going to lose product and the sheep will get hungry because I don't have anything to feed them. So I try to make sure that all the hay we make is clover hay and not grass hay, or I don't include any grass hay in the mix. So I'm going to have to fold that up again, and we'll go check our ploughing crew, which is really having a major headache today. Okay. You can see here where I just really screwed up the angle completely. I guess we send it on a trip up and back and it's just going to end up crapping out along that edge. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Thing is I think the only way I can fix this is to mess around with the end here so it's straight, but I don't know if I can do that actually. I'll flip that the other way. So you put your right wheel in the rut and off you go. Why did the camera view turn around? I don't know. So he's heading up there. He is doing fine now. So we should not get any more issues from the class until he's actually done everything he's capable of doing. Okay, front mower on, back mower, unfold, mower. Try not to hit the brick wall, and on. So we'll run around this field, and that'll be the 4 small clover fields done. This one, as soon as we've collected everything off of it, we will look at ploughing it. So I'll bring the case over here because it's got the smaller plough and this is a small field. While we could possibly get this field done quite quickly with the Lemken, it's so big and unwieldy, it's difficult to actually, you're going to spend more time lining it up than you are actually ploughing. Whereas with the case, you can just drop and go. So job here is, we have to bale and wrap. So I'm going to have to, we'll try and figure this out as the best idea, because obviously if I can bale and wrap this field and move all the bales off it, can wrap with the Valtra, I suppose. Yeah, I can bale with this tractor. We'll wrap with the Valtra, and then I'll hitch the JCB onto the Anderson bale collector. And, well, I'll just go this way. If I do that, then I don't have to unhitch anything from the piece of equipment it's running. I have been playing this map for ages. And I had to restart because my hard drive failed, so since reboot we have 244 hours on this map, and then there's probably another 600-700 prior to my hard drive failing. So yeah, long time. And that's, you know, for Super DG Gaming or Super DD Gaming question. I'm, you know, when I move my Saturday series to a new map, I am looking at some serious time on the map. So it's not something I'm looking to move away from once I start the Saturday series on a new map. But this is, while Oxygen David created this map, this is actually the farming agency version of this map. So we have Maize Plus. I'm running the manure system, although I don't really need to. And also, obviously, seasons. So this is our clover harvest. It's actually second for this field this year, but that's because we only planted it at the beginning of the year. And already I've noticed this field needs to be ploughed for some strange reason. The other three don't need to be ploughed. So I obviously messed up somewhere. Probably just cultivated the field. I got a 12-meter cultivator, so I tend to go out and rip up fields with that rather than plough them. And I obviously wasn't paying attention to notice that this field needed to be ploughed, which is my mistake. This is the AGCO 1000 in Challenger colours, and I am happy to see this mod is in Farm Sim 22, although I have downloaded it, I haven't taken a detailed look at it. I'm assuming it's still available in Challenger colours, because that's just different. I'm not a big fan of articulated tractors. So things like, where is it? These things which they bend in the middle here rather than having steering wheels. I'm not really a big fan of that. So to be able to have a rigid frame Challenger is, I like this, and it's different. Yes, it is. Was it Millennial Farmer about 2 years ago went to their factory and did a bit of a tour? I honestly can't remember. But yeah, actually, Around the area where my wife's family comes from, there is a farm that runs just fence. And I've seen him running a whole batch of sort of the big 1000 tracked Fendt and a 900, may have a 700 as well, but everything on the farm is Fendt except his forage harvester, which is a class, which is not particularly typical of that area. Most people seem to run smaller case, very occasionally smaller New Hollands. I mean, we're talking T5, T6, and also button to push that one. Obviously, John Deere, very, very popular in the US. I mean, I'm not specific to any tractor series. So, in the past I've done sort of a Fendt farm, a Massey Ferguson farm, New Holland farm. The Saturday series, I tend to, select lots of different things. I don't know why I'm going the long way round. We're going the long way round. So we've got a Challenger, a Class, Case, JCB, and Valtra on this farm. And a Fendt harvester, because why not? Is this where I got all this stuff from? I think so. Okay, the big Class is still running the plough. It looks like the Case is still having issues, so I may go and help out there for a while. Yes, and that I understand is a big deal. It's either that or it's what you're used to. One of the YouTube farmers I watch, he runs a lot of older John Deere stuff. I don't know that he's got a new John Deere dealer near him, but he has got a dealer that does a lot of second-hand John Deere tractors. But when it comes to his harvester, that's a Alice Chalmers, and I'm selecting the wrong one. He runs that because there's basically an Alice Chalmers graveyard dealer near him. So if he has any problems with his harvester, he can just go and get spare parts from there. And the particular dealership just has rows of them, so they can pull spares off anytime they want. But he tends to stick with John Deere tractors. He tends to stick with the same model. So it just keeps his servicing easier because he does all his own. Okay, we now need the baler, which is upstairs. Alice. Yes. But you can find, if you've got a local scrap dealer that just has, I mean, it's kind of like the old aeroplanes down in where is it, Arizona, where you've just got a desert full of old aeroplanes. You know, when you've got a dealership like that just has old equipment as far as the eye can see, getting spare parts from them is not too difficult. Okay, we have clover hay loaded, so our first bale out will be clover hay unless I just do this. Wrong button. Where's the farm? There. If I can click. Oh, zoom in. There we go. There we go. If I reset that, little cheat I learned somewhere. I really botched that up, didn't I? Let's try that again. There we go. And that's quadrant. I didn't notice whether the baler actually needed scene 2, but I think 15% is time to give it a bit of a service. So I will put that in there. Turn the engine off, jump out, and we will fix that. But resetting the baler will empty it. So actually I didn't want to do that. I want to come back over here. And we will do a little bit of ploughing here. I want to see if we can get all the way across at this angle. What I then might do at the bottom is just run across, a straight line across, so that the worker will auto-reverse. We can fill in the triangle later. Plus has got a long way to go. Still. What I'll do is we'll run all the way to the corner. So we've now got a nice straight edge here. It's just a really bad, well actually it's 90, it's a 90-degree angle, so it's the sort of angle that the worker tends to like. And yeah, I should have flipped the plow, but I didn't. Okay, that's done. Let's do the bits the worker failed to do. But yeah, I just started this at a really bad angle earlier on. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is round about that angle. Stop. Round about that angle, but up here. Where the field angle changes ever so slightly, I'm going to take this at about 0 degrees. That'll do nicely, and we'll just run a straight line across there. Pick that up. That was not a squirrel. Now, if I line that up around about 90 degrees, kick off the worker, I should not have any problems from this guy for quite some time. This field is going well, so back to the baling. Must admit, I haven't been to Wales in many years. And frequently when I took a train in Wales, it used to be the Irish Mail from Holyhead, which ran through Bangor at around 2 o'clock in the morning. And that was my train of choice when heading back to London, because nobody else rides it. Crazy thing is you had to book your ticket in advance, or you had to book your seat when you bought your ticket, and you would have an assigned seat, but the entire train was empty. So I'm not sure why they went for seat assignments, but hey, whatever. Okay, we need to unfold that. Done. Lower the header. Done. Turn it on, and I'm going to miss that line of grass to our right, so that we end up with clover. And this is not an easy path to follow, because we did turn quite tightly in the corners here. And it's kind of tricky to get the baler to follow you through some of these corners, some of these turns. So I now have 3 tractors doing their thing, so yay for that. I think what we'll do here, as I said, I'm going to work my way down to field 11. I think field 11 is the one that needs ploughed. Oops. Yeah, field 11 needs ploughed. So what we'll do is we'll go and bale up all of that field. I'll just make bales on the way there. And then I'll grab the Valtra and we'll wrap that field, pull the bales off it, and then, not right away, but when the case is freed